Hey, welcome back, Knicks fans. I just wanted to recap yesterday's game, but mostly to talk about the Knicks rotation going forward. After free agency, we didn't really make much moves, and also we had a surprising win against the Golden State Warriors. They looked really good against the Warriors. Probably the best game they played this season so far. The Golden State Warriors is one of the best teams in the league, arguably the best team in the league. Although they were without Draymond Green. That's basically, their defensive anchor, and so we were able to take advantage of that. Especially Julius Randle took advantage of it, made quick decisions, was very aggressive, beasted below. I mean, this is one of those games. The whole year I've been talking all year long about the Knicks punishing teams for playing small against us, for being smaller versus us, and we finally did that today. We're starting to do that versus teams. We're becoming very physical. We're attacking the basket a lot better. We're getting to the free throw line. And then we're also getting a lot of offensive rebounds. So this game versus the Golden State Warriors, we actually really won this game at the free throw line. That's pretty much how we won this game because Golden State actually shot a better percentage than we did. And they also made more field goals than we did. But however, I think Golden State basically was like 15 to 17 or 14 to 16 from the free throw line. And we were 24. I think we're 24 of 33. So we basically went to the free throw line 33 times and made 24. We still have a lot of work to do to improve on free throw shooting. There's actually a few games we could have won this year if we made free throws. We've been missing. Basically, we've been having double-digit misses from the free throw line. Today was 9. But it's something they really need to work on. But nevertheless, this is a very impressive win. Julius Randle he looked like the Julius Randle from last year. Actually, the last few games, he's actually looked pretty good. Although there's been some execution issues in the games we lost recently, except for the Denver one. Denver, we just basically got smoked and just ran out of the gym. So, however, he's played really well. I want to say like the last 5 games or so. Although a lot of the games we lost. Although he played really well, the late game execution was really bad, and he had a lot of turnovers in some of those games as well. But today, he was very aggressive, got to the line 12 times, made 8 free throws. So he just really, he pretty much, at a lot of points in his game, put the team on his back, and it was like really nice to see. Alec Brooks also played an excellent game. He basically, I think he had like 12 fourth quarter points, which is great. Really helped us a lot, carried the team. And we saw a lot of, not Deuce McBride. We saw a lot of Cam Reddish. He played about 19 minutes, 25 seconds, had 12 points. I mean, he looked really good. Extremely talented kid. It looks like he has a very high upside. And he actually was very disciplined today. I felt like he was more disciplined than normal and was a little more disciplined with shot selections today. And so it was really nice to see. And I think, with a lot of work and the right coaching, I think this kid is going to be really special. He could be something really special. And it was nice to see him on the court for extended minutes yesterday. So really want to talk about the Knicks rotation going forward right now. We have R.J. Barrett is out right now, and Derrick Rose is out. Derrick Rose is supposed to come back after the All-Star break, so we're looking to have him back towards the end of February. That's what the word is. R.J. Barrett, we're not sure when he comes back, but I'm trying to imagine what the lineup looks like when Derrick Rose comes back. And so right here on the top left-hand corner, I have the New York Knicks team rosters. And I kind of have everything grouped. I have who I think should be starting is the first group up here. And then the second group here is pretty much who I feel the coach has to select from for the second unit. And you can also add Taj Gibson in here, although Taj Gibson is not in that second group. But you can add him there. And then Cam Reddish, given how he played the last game, is possible the coach may try him out to see how he looks. Because Cam Reddish, he's a very long defender. You can switch him a lot of positions. So he could definitely on the defensive end, he definitely comes in handy. I think if he starts making better shot, having better shot selection, and he starts to make more 3-point shots, I think you might start seeing Tom Thibodeau really start to play Cam Reddish a lot more. However, I just have him in this last group because, especially once we have Derrick Rose back and RJ Barrett back, I think it's going to be really difficult. Somebody's going to have to move towards the end of the bench, and I have a feeling it might be Cam Reddish right now. And so, like I said, this second group is basically the pool of players Tom Thibodeau has to choose from in order to figure out who he wants to play for the second unit. And so, now regarding the reason why RJ Barrett obviously is a starting two guard, Julius power forward, Mitchell Robinson center, Derrick Rose is the point guard, and Evan Fournier is a shooting guard. There's a lot of Knicks fans that believe Quinton Grimes is better than Evan Fournier. I really have to disagree with that. The first thing, Evan Fournier is a much better offensive player. He can really fill it up. He's not afraid to shoot. He's a better shooter than Quinton Grimes is right now. And especially if given the past month, Evan Fournier has been a much more consistent shooter, than Quinton Grimes has been. I know Quinton Grimes, everyone feels he's a pretty good defender as well. However, I've said a few times, Quinton Grimes, he does do a good job staying with his man, but if you talk about effectiveness, as you see here, we have defensive field goal percentages. And so this is basically, when a player contests, this is the amount of field goal they contest. This is what they allow that's made, and this is the percentage here. And Evan Fournier, he's at 45.6. And if you look here, Quinton Grimes is at 46.2. Slightly higher than Evan Fournier. So it looks like they're almost the same on the defensive end. As far as in terms of how effective are they at challenging shots, right? That's what this statistic is showing. However, staying with his man, obviously Quinton Grimes is better at staying with his man and also keeping, so the defense doesn't get broken down, keeping people out of the paint. So from that standpoint, he is better than Evan Fournier. But overall, Evan Fournier is a better player. He's actually a much better player. And so a lot of guys like to think, Quinton Grimes is a better player. I really wholeheartedly disagree with that because he's not even anywhere near close to the same offensive player than that Evan Fournier is. So we're hoping to get Derrick Rose back towards the end of February. And now this is what I would like to see, right? This is what I would like to see, and maybe this is what the coach does. Now, when we get Derrick Rose back, I'm really praying Tom Thibodeau does not play Derrick Rose anywhere near 30 minutes a game. Derrick Rose should not be playing more than 25 minutes a game. He is too old to be playing more than 25 minutes a game. Even if you start him, he shouldn't be playing more than 25 minutes a game. And so I really think, they should really pay attention to that. And that's who I think should start. And then as far as the backup point guard, I really do think it should be Kemba Walker. And I feel like Kemba Walker really can only do about 15 to 18 minutes max. And then the coach for the rest of the minutes, maybe he can use Alec Brooks, like he's been using at the point guard position. And so he can rotate between all three of these guys. He can really rotate with all three of these guys at the point guard position. So he can rotate Derrick Rose, Alec Brooks, and Kemba Walker. But the primaries are going to be Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker. And the coach is probably going to bring Alec Brooks in when the other two aren't able to run point guard or when both of them are on the bench. In my opinion, this is an opportunity to bring Miles McBride into the game and give him burn. But we'll see. And just move Alec Brooks back to his natural position. That's what I think the coach should do. And so as far as the two guard coming off the bench, I think right now is going to be Quinton Grimes. And the small forward coming off the bench. Small forward coming off the bench, you're going to have to go with Alec Brooks. And power forward is Obi Toppins. And then the center position, Nerlens Noel. But they're going to have to be willing to give Nerlens Noel a quick cut because he's really struggled this year. He's really playing really bad. If you look at defensive field goal percentage, he's at 50.7. That should be really somewhere around 44%, especially for a big man. You really want it to be around 44%, and this is 50, basically 51% is way too high for a center. But if you look at Taj Gibson, he's at 42.4, and Taj Gibson is a much smaller center than Nerlens Noel is, but obviously he's been more effective as challenging, like shots in the paint, people that are attacking the paint, and so he's just done a much better job. He's always in great position, although he doesn't have the physical tools to be a great shot blocker. He does his best, and he plays, he has good technique, and he plays good defense. And so they need to be willing to have a quick hook for Nerlens Noel if he doesn't look good and just play Taj Gibson. Because if you look at Taj Gibson, his field goal percentage is almost 52%, and he holds opposing shooters at 42%. That's like a 9.2% differential. That's a big deal. And so the other thing too is I wanted to look at up here. If you look at the starting lineup, I mean, a lot of these guys are even. RJ Barrett, like I've always said, he carries the load on the defensive end, but he's shooting only 41%, and so he's slight differential slightly below. Same thing with Julius Randle, slightly below, similar to RJ. But I have a feeling if these guys continue to pick it up, I think this is going to slowly creep into the positive. Of course, we got Mitchell Robinson. The dude is a beast, so about 34% differential. However, it doesn't carry a huge weight. He is an extremely efficient player. They really, like I said, they really should find a way to get him more shots in the paint. They need to get this guy the ball in the paint. A lot of time he does a good job sealing players off. They need to get him the ball. So especially when teams play small against us, we should be really dominating in the paint, and Mitch should be really dominating in the paint. I'm not talking about just getting offensive rebounds and getting putbacks. We really need to do a lot more, especially punish teams for playing small against us. And we're starting to do that a little more recently, but I think we need to continue doing that. Derrick Rose, he's one of our better players. Defensive field goals, 37%. His field goal percentage is about almost 45%, 7.1 differential. Him and Mitchell Robinson, both of them are two most efficient players. And then Evan Fournier, he's shooting only 43% and allows about 46%, almost a 3% differential in the hole. And so that's a problem. We hope that gets better. So, and if we get down here to the bench, in terms of ranking who should be playing, if you want to rank it based on these differentials here, obviously, although Nerlens Noel looks pretty good, it's because his field goal percentage is higher than the defensive field goal. However, this is 51% is way too high, although he's showing a positive differential. I still think, they should really be willing to give him a quick hook if he struggles in games. Obi Toppin is our most efficient person on the bench. He's one of the most efficient people on our team. He's the second most efficient behind Mitchell Robinson. Although Jericho Sims is at 38.6, he shoots 72.3%, but just not enough minutes. He hasn't gotten a lot of play time, and so you can't really count him. But in terms of people that are basically in the rotation, he is the second most efficient player that we have on the team. And so he definitely should be, he should be getting a lot more minutes. And honestly, the coach should be looking for every reason to keep him on the floor. Even when a lot of times the coach likes to bring Julius Randle in early, I think they should really consider playing Obi at the center position and just trying a little more. They just don't really give it enough chance. The coach doesn't give it enough of a chance. A lot of times he'll do it as soon as he sees a mistake with both of those guys on the floor. He basically pulls Obi Toppin and put a center right back in the game. And so, and that's an issue. The coach should really be looking for ways to get Obi Toppin on the floor a lot more often. He's just, he's extremely efficient. He's very active, and he gives the team a lot of energy as well, right? And so Quinton Grimes, there's a 5.5 negative differential. He's shooting 41% and allows about 46% from 46% field goal shooting from the opposing team. And so he is, he takes away. He does take away from the team. At least that's what these stats suggest, and I do think he does because he's just not efficient enough. Efficient enough. He needs to be a lot more efficient. You know, if either he needs to get this defensive field goal percentage way down, or he needs to improve this. And so, and I think that's part of the reason why the bench struggles too. He's not that consistent. He's not there yet when he can basically give you where he can just start filling it up, where he gets really hot and hit 5 threes in a game. He rarely does that. He'll give it two or three threes in a game, but he rarely gives you 4 and 5 threes in a game. That doesn't happen very often. And of course, I have Miles McBride as part of the pool that the coach has that he can play. And the reason why I have him in there is because I really think the coach should consider start playing this kid. I mean, the reason why we're in a situation we're in right now, where we're struggling at the point guard position, is because the coach refused to play Miles McBride early. Everyone knew Derrick Rose is old and he can't play more than 25 minutes. After 10 or 15 games, we knew Kemba Walker could not even really play more than 15 minutes a game. 20 minutes max. But his sweet spot is probably between 15 and 18 minutes. That's the sweet spot for Kemba Walker. If you want him to be effective and to contribute to this team going forward, you can't play him more than 18 minutes a game. You just can't. And so the rest of the minutes, it would behoove the coach to just play this kid Miles McBride. I mean, this is a point guard he wanted. He wanted this kid drafted. He had a good game versus Houston. Struggled first 4 minutes in the Toronto game, and the coach pulled him. And this kid has never seen he's seen NBA floor for garbage minutes, but he hasn't seen any meaningful minutes since the coach pulled him in that Toronto Raptors game, and I think that's a little absurd. And the reason why we're in a situation is because the coach basically abused Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker. Remember Kemba Walker, he was playing about over 30 minutes a game when the season first started. About 30 minutes a game he was playing. And so after 10 games, he dipped way off. Productivity dipped way down, right? And so we knew his knees was bothering him. What he should have done, they did bench him, right? What they should have done was just shut him down. And then bring him back, and just adjust his minutes and bring him back, have him play 15 to 18 minutes. So what they should have done was shut him down, play Derrick Rose 25 minutes, bring Miles McBride in, and give him the rest of the minutes. Early in the season, we lost all those games anyway, right? Early in the season is your time to kind of get it together, to kind of find chemistry and figure out what you're doing. So the time to play Miles McBride was early in the season, but the coach didn't do that. So when Kemba Walker got benched, he played Derrick Rose about 38 minutes a game for a whole week. It was absurd. And of course, everyone knew Derrick Rose was going to go down after that. Something was going to go wrong. Everyone kept saying, okay, we'll see how long this lasts. It only lasted a week. Derrick Rose, basically went out, had to have surgery or whatever. He had to have surgery. And that was that. Brings Kemba Walker back. And then he proceeds to play Kemba for 37 minutes a game. About 36 or 37 minutes a game for a whole week. Kemba Walker won, I think it was Eastern Conference Player of the Week or something like that. And then, of course, the productivity dipped way off after that. I just don't understand that. It just doesn't make any sense. It's almost like he has the way he does things and he doesn't want to deviate from it. But it's stupid. This is the roster you have. You don't have any other choice. You can't it's almost like he's trying to force a square peg into a round hole. I mean, these guys, they just can't do it, Nobody, it's great that you have the way you do things and you have the way you do things. That's great, right? So you have a plan. It's good that you have a plan. But sometimes reality runs afoul of your plans and you have to adjust your plans. But it's crazy. He just doesn't adjust his plans. He's so stubborn that he refused to adjust. And you had no choice but to play. This season, he had no choice but to have a 3-point guard rotation. And that rotation should have been Derrick Rose, Kemba Walker, and Miles McBride. but he just refused to do it. And so, honestly, he takes the blame for a lot of the issues we've had this season, especially us not having a point guard and the offense struggling, because he made the decision to basically overplay these guys when he know these guys can't play, when he knows Derrick Rose shouldn't play more than 25 minutes. And then after the first month or so, he knew Kemba Walker couldn't play more than 20 minutes a game, but he didn't care, And that's the thing that's the other part. Maybe, I'm a little too much with it, or maybe I'm a little too sensitive about it. I don't like that. That does not make Tom Thibodeau looks good. He actually makes him look really bad. These guys, they have injury issues. These guys have serious injury problems or health issues with their knees and with their leg, with the lower extremities, right? They have serious issues, and the coach knows that. But the excuse he gives, I'll leave it up to the players to let me know how they feel. You know what's going on with these players, and these players in position where a lot of times they don't know when to say no. They don't want to say no. Sometimes you got to save the players from themselves. A lot of times coaches have to save the players from themselves, but he refuses to do that. He's so spiteful with it. And so that's the big issue that I have with him, amongst other stuff, especially when he doesn't like to make adjustments within games. He's just extremely stubborn, and so that's one of the issues I've really had with him this year. I felt like he was, really stubborn with the point guard rotation, and I felt a lot of times he was really spiteful with it. I felt like it was really wrong the way he played these point guards, especially the way he played Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker. It is his fault that these guys basically were having these physical ailments this year. It's Tom Thibodeau's fault. You have to say it's his fault because he knew these players have these issues, but he just doesn't care. It's almost like he's trying to punish them and punish the front office for giving them injury-prone players. And so pretty much, that's what I have with this rotation here. This is what I think, the coach, the rotation, that they should go with going forward. It looks like, I've always felt that this team did have the talent. However, we struggled because Julius Randle, this team was built around Julius Randle. He was the engine last year. His performance is highly correlated with the team's overall performance. Last year, I think it was the correlation between his performance and the team's performance. It was something absurd. I think it was like 72.72. That's extremely high. I think Jokic was the only other person that was higher at like 0.73. And so when you have a player where their performance is that highly correlated with like the team's performance, where they're that much of an engine for the team, that is a problem, because when that player struggles, that means the team is going to play terrible. And so that's what's been happening this year, and Julius really struggled with it, but he's been playing better, right? So hopefully that continues to he continues to play better. And so, but that's one of the reasons why we really struggled this year, and hopefully that improves. But, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. What do you think about the lineup? Who would you like to see in your starting lineup? Who would you like to see coming off the bench? Feel free to comment below. I'll be more than happy to respond. Thank you so much. Have a good night.